party continues. The party's the best. Undefeated in New England. Come get me. This is my house. My house.
Stayed on me here, I took it with zero. The flame was saying I read it for miles. The shit was in luck, they got me fucked up. I put you on bus and take you around. A couple of guys inside of the school, I gave them the tools to get it off ground. They say they're the ones when they make the airs, can't look in the mirror. That shit wild. Stand on the stage, I give them the rage, I'm turning it down. Containing, keep power, doing the streets. We do it for keys, we do it for rights. I'm 52 weeks, the shit ain't for pleasure, I'm coming to tweak. The shit's for everything, everything up in here, we got it, and rapping and writing and rapping and right.
What makes me excited about Ticketry as a company is you saw a need in an industry, and that's exactly what Cage Titans was. When I was a fighter, I saw that the experiences weren't great for fighters, and they really weren't great for fans as well. And similar to you guys in the ticket industry, so to be partnering with another Plymouth company, which is near and dear to my heart, being in Plymouth, which is our home for Cage Titans, it just made sense that you saw what we saw. Give the fans a better experience. Just buying the ticket doesn't end there. There's collectibles and merchandise and perks and all the things that you're going to give them this amazing experience. And that's what really excites me. And it just so happens you guys are here in Plymouth, which we love. We love Plymouth, America's hometown. Tickets for Cage Titans 69 are on sale now. So don't wait. These tickets will go fast. 2025, let's go.
Let's go, baby!
Just like that.
And just like that, here we are.
There we are.
It's award season, baby.
Award season.
Holiday season, award season.
Award season, poster season.
Been a great year. Oh, poster
Cheers.
drop?
Yeah, poster drop. Cheers.
Cheers.
Drinking a laundry. Those are good.
They are. Dangerously good. But poster's dropping.
Poster drop tonight, too. We want to make people wait for that, or what do you think?
It's your call. We got a pretty free agenda. We just went through all the nominees and got all the official nominees for.
Yeah, so tonight we're going to go over the poster. We're going to drop the poster. And as I promised in our preview video, it's a knockout. No pun intended. Maybe get your guesses in who you think it could be. And then we'll release it in a little bit. And also, we finalized all the categories. Last week, we kind of had a brainstorming session. And we took some of your ideas. We went back to the lab, finalized the 4 finalists for every category. And we're going to announce that tonight. Some of the categories we already have the videos done, so we'll drop the videos and just kind of announce all that tonight.
Yeah, and then a couple of weeks will pass, and we'll officially have the fight of the year, fighter of the year, knockout of the year, and put a nice ribbon and bow on 2024 as we gear up for 2025 when the calendar changes in a few short weeks after Santa makes it back to the North Pole.
Yeah. And, I mean, I have pretty much the entire fight card for it.
I know. I just took a peek at it, and it's like, damn, that came to fruition pretty quick. It's significantly jumped up since the last time I took a peek at how the fight card was coming to be, and it's pretty well shaped up. I'm very stoked for it already.
I think I have like 1 or 2 more fights that I'm trying to finalize, but for the most part, you know. We lost our. Oh, there we go. Here we're back. And the amateur card pretty much finalized with the exception of like 1 or so AMI fights. You know, it's been tough lately. I mean, it's been tough and easy at the same time, like matching the cards lately, because you know me, you know, going back for the many years, like I hate telling people that the cards are full, but you know, so as of late, like trying to boil it down to 16 fights and like who's on the card, who's not on the card, you know, and, you know, I always rewarded guys that if they always fought on Cage Titans, we'd always get them on a card. And now it's like getting more and more difficult to kind of, you know, get everybody that wants to fight on the card, which is heartbreaking for me because, as you know, like I always say it, if you want to fight for Cage Titans, I'll add shows. You know, we'll do double headers. We'll do all kinds of crazy stuff. We'll do 20 fights, whatever it is to get guys on. But, you know, it's been tough. So it's been tough kind of whittling it down. But I think we got some good fights on this card. A lot of names. People are already asking for the fight card. Come on, man. I got to tease a little bit. We're going to do the
we need something to talk about next week.
Yeah, well, next week we'll have. Yeah, that's true. But, yeah, listen, man. Sorry. I feel like my mic's too hot. I like to talk loud. And I know when it's too close to my face, it blasts in people's ear. But yeah, I gotta give you guys something to look forward to. But anyways, I what's up, homies? Adam Portrait, what's going on? But fuck it, we'll just drop the poster. Let's just do the poster.
Do the poster.
No one even guessed.
pretty
I wanted
badass.
people to guess what they thought. Montrell James. Actually, Montrell, the guy that I'm looking for, is actually a 170er. So have Montrell hit me up.
Oh, shit. Too cold coming back
too cold,
up?
man. It is cold up here, so it would be fitting to get him up here in January. So, yeah, I know he's been doing his thing in boxing, kickboxing, all kinds of stuff. But, yeah, so no one had any guesses for the poster picture. But I'm going to say it was pretty simple. I'm going to show you actually, let me show you the picture first, and then I'll show you the design, what we came up with. Let's see what I got.
Oh, drop the poster first.
No, because then we can, because then get them a little bit of excited about what the post is going to look like. So let's see. So I think when this knockout happened, well, we'll set it up for you. Whenever I do a poster, I always base it off photos from the previous show. So the design process for me is I wait for the photographers to get me all their photos from the shows, from the previous show, and then I take one from that previous show. So for this poster, it was going to be a photo from Cage Titan 68. Just always the deal I kind of have in my head. Unless we do a poster that has like faces on it, like the Barrett and Giannetti one. But that's kind of the whole thought process.
Well, it's how it's always been.
So that's kind of the process. This one, right when the photo came out, it was a no-brainer for me. And, shout out to our photographers. I believe this was Liam that grabbed this photo right at the connect point. Unbelievable photo, unbelievable knockout. It's rare that you see kind of, us getting, kind of get that. Like, let me see if I can. That's not working. You can hear us, obviously. You just can't see our faces, but it's rare. Like you see the connect point like that, and so crisp and so clean. And if you heard me talk about photos in the past, I'm very particular. Like, all right, is it crisp? Is it fuzzy? Is there motion blur? This photo was just,
Pure.
Unbelievable job on the photo. So that's where we kind of came. And without further ado, I'm going to take a comment off. Let's just drop the poster. Bada bing.
Official. Cage Titan 69. There you have it.
Let's take our faces out so they can take it in. Maybe they can hear us. So there you go, guys. Actually, we could have just sat to the side and looked at the poster.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Liam, as he said in the comments, it is his photo. Unbelievable job. I think this is like the second poster in a row that we've used with his photography. He was the one that got the jumping knee with Solo Hatley, which every time we mention this photo, I do have to promise Zach that I would mention that I did not land. That knee did not land. I heard, like, of course, Zach was so mad. He's like right before that, I threw a flying knee and it connected. Then he tried to do the same thing and missed, but you guys use him as the poster. So shout out to Zach, D17. That was an incredible fight. Obviously, it was a draw, but that was a great photo by Liam. Another great photo by Liam. And I try to really kind of go with I kind of went with a little bit of sports card theme a little bit on this one. The other thing with this one, for me, when I'm designing the posters, I kind of like to put some like bells and whistles and filters and, add some flair. I just felt like this photo was just,
it fits it perfectly.
It's insane.
It's like a Tetris piece.
Yeah.
The whole knockout coordinated. Yeah.
So I figured let the star of the show be that photo in this one. So I hope you guys enjoy it. It's one of the love-hate relationships I have with a new show is always coming up with a new poster. And, it's like when you have to come up with a poster, it's like you got to come up with something on the spot. And it's like, you saying, or it's like, or you're a comedian as well. It's just like, tell me a joke right now. It's like, oh shit, like, I got to come up with it on the spot. And that's our sing me a song, or like come up with an original song right now. I'm not saying that's what I do with posters, but like it's very difficult because it's like I got to come up with a poster this week. So I got to drop the poster. I got to drop the tickets. I got to come up with all the marketing around this. And sometimes I hit creative blocks. So I kind of got lazy like a year or two ago. I was like, I'm just going to recycle posters, which I still do sometimes that I really like. But
well, we were talking about that. It's just like it's a reasonable thing to do because you don't have to go into that kind of crazy space, but you go back into it. It's,
man.
You can't help it. You're back in the vortex of the
Yeah,
original posters.
Well, it's funny because, like, you know, I think 2 years ago, it was like, all right, I'm just going to start like picking my
pick
favorites.
the best 5, and that's
every
the 5 for the
January
year.
I'll have this poster, and every March I'll have this poster. And
It's been 3 years. It's changed.
And then I just kind of, I don't know, man. It always is nice seeing something new and something fresh. And but I do hate myself. Like it's honestly like a couple days just sitting there like in a creative like block and just like scrolling ideas and stuff like that.
I've seen it.
So yeah, it's fun. I got to find out your name, Jay Keeve. I just call you Jay Keeve, Jay, John, whatever your name is. We actually do sell prints of the posters at the merch table. You can buy. We print the posters for every event, and we have all the fighters sign it at weigh-ins. So you can purchase prints with all the autographs of all the posters at the merch table. So I think we sell them 75 signed and 50 just autographed and rolled up, and you can take it home. But yeah, so there you go. So there's some ideas for you. So there's the poster. We dropped the poster.
It's dropped.
I know people are probably dying to hear about the awards, which we're going to go over and we're going to talk about at length. Should I give him a fight? No, I'm not. I pulled up the card. I was going to give you guys some fights, but you know what? We're gonna make you wait. We're not gonna do the fights today. We're gonna. John,
you guys know enough.
John, yeah. So what's up, John? Yeah, we'll go over fights later. We've already talked about Ozzie Martin and Ron Marshall, which we announced. Greg Jones, champion, Valdina, Penafiel, Pags, and Shanus.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'll give you this one. Hillary Rose. She's up for a couple awards. Hillary Rose is making her return. At a new weight class, 105 pounds, and she's taken on Natalie Schlesinger. Natalie Schlesinger came to Cage Titans as an amateur. She's back now, 3-2 as a pro, having a solid pro career on a little bit of streak for herself. And Natalie fought Ashley Barrett as amateurs, and I guess here comes big sister Hillary.
Yeah, didn't Natalie got the decision? I believe she
got the split decision victory. Yes. Let's look it up. Natalie Schlesinger.
Yeah, that must have been pre-COVID, or was that in 2021?
Natalie
like
Schlesinger.
the first fight back from COVID.
2020, January 2020. So the last event we had
yeah,
before COVID.
That's right. There we go.
And she picked up the victory over Ashley Barrett. So here comes big sis now that she's a pro and taking on Hillary Rose. So Hillary Rose. Though I think it's funny. So we were going over the awards and we had Hillary Rose. And Andy's like, I don't think I've ever announced her that.
Yeah, I've never announced.
I think that was like.
Never heard the nickname before.
So there was
if that is the thing, then
she did have a nickname, Hillary Rose, and it was like a year. And I'm pretty sure I asked her about it, and she said it was like a floated nickname, and they ran with it for a few fights, but I don't think it stuck. So that's probably why.
Yeah, I've never.
But Natalie Schlesinger taking on Hillary Rose. We haven't talked about that fight before. So there you go. That we had it slated. We were trying to pull it off for our last event, and then it got bumped to this event. So that's why I'm going to give it to you today. So we got a lot of fights that we'll be talking about. We got 17 on the books right now. A lot of guys returning. Xavier Cardona last week, he tuned into Table Titans asking for a body, as he says, and we got him a body, and he'll be making his return. A couple other guys, Drew Arpin, after a year off, making his return. Ryan Kennedy's making his return. Zach Converse, you might remember his name from the Muay Thai world. He's making the transition to MMA, and he's going to be making his return at Cage Titans 69.
A lot of exciting things.
Yeah, Gavin O'Connell's back. Timmy Walsh. Those are just names that returning. And then there's a couple newcomers that are slated to be on this card as well. Matt Martinez, Carter Whitty will be on this card. Some other ones, but yeah. So
we'll give you the start of 2025 after we wrap up
Tyler
the
Smythe. End
of 2024 real quick.
Yeah, Tyler Smythe's trying to get on the card.
Oh shit.
So maybe we'll get him in there. The Evolution guys, what's up, Justin Simmons? I'm pretty sure everybody can hear us, so it might be you guys, New England MMA News. But anyways, without further ado, we gave you 15 minutes kind of looking forward to Cage Titan 69. I think it's time to kind of wrap up 2024. I want to say thank you to everybody last week who was part of the show and kind of gave us some good insight, on what we should do for these awards. And we kind of sat down, and I think we got a pretty good list of nominees for the Cage Titans Awards. After we get off air, there will be a Google ballot that we'll put up on our website tomorrow morning. You can go on there. We'll also share it all on our social media. You can go on there and vote for your favorites. You can vote for all categories. If you don't want to vote for all the categories, only vote with some, more than welcome to do that. But we'll have the voting open for the year-end awards. And, there you go. So what do you think, Andy? What order do you want to go in? You want to go in order of the ballot like we did last week? Same order?
Start from the bottom, go up top.
Started from the bottom, now we're here. All right, here we go. Event of the year. We're not going to spend much time on that. We had 6 events. Pick one of the 6. Do your homework if you want. We're not going to dissect all 6 cards. So let's go.
So many fights amongst all of those.
So many fights amongst them.
But yeah, go look them up on Tapology.
Yeah.
Bring yourself back to that night of memory.
For sure. So we'll go from the bottom. So we got Moment of the Year. And without further ado, there's your category nominees. Andy, hit them.
We got Barrett versus Giannetti finally happening. Jaylen Brown in the crowd. Super Bowl champ Ty Law.
Hall of Famer as well.
Patriot Hall of Famer, NFL Hall of Famer in there with the T-shirt gun. And we've got the first ever USA chant. Special shout out to Dr. Bolinas for hooking us up with Sergeant Hill, who gets everybody in there every show. And we have an array of veterans, and that's become a custom thing at the Cage Titans intermission, getting behind it in patriotic fashion, getting behind the troops that are local to Plymouth. So
yeah, it's been
that started off this year. So those are the moments of the year.
And there were some other great moments that we kind of had a hard time whittling these down. The OG belt, creating that was something that we had in there that kind of didn't get pulled off. But, there were some great moments. So, thank you to all these people being a part of the moments. There they are one more time. Moment of the year. Unbelievable. Like I said, Barrett versus Giannetti finally happened 8 years in the making. The USA chance, bottom right. Ty Law, Corvus Vaca's debut, official Vaca at Cage Titans. Ty Law, Super Bowl Hall of Famer. All that good stuff. And then, obviously, Jaylen Brown in the Hall. My favorite part about Jaylen Brown in the Hall is that he was at Cage Titans once to see somebody, and he had such a good time, and he came back. So that was a cool moment.
Definitely cool
for us. So there you go. Moment of the year. Next up, let's see what I have in my little Rolodex. Oh, I could actually, Andy, you're going to talk after this one because then I can sort them. So there you go. Walk out of the year. Go ahead, Andy.
Why? This is the one I don't know.
All right, fine. I'll go over the walkouts because Andy doesn't. He calls these the Nick categories. So we'll go over this. We got walkout of the year. Top left-hand corner, many men. Colin Silva doing the Trump walkout, make America great again. Top right, we gave this to both guys, the Jaden Curley and Ozzie Martin walkout. For those who might not remember, Jaden Curley. It was more about the vibe of the building at that time. Yeah, they didn't do anything crazy, silly, dancing or any of these props. Intense. It was just an intense walkout. And the photo that I chose for this is you have Jaden Curley just staring through the cage as Ozzie was getting patted down. That he had to get the ref actually had to pull him away. That was pretty crazy. Then obviously we should call it the Jerry Muse Award. He's won it so many times. Jerry Muse doing the Deadpool bye as Captain America, Jerry Muse in the bottom. And then newcomer Everett Desolé with his corner dog. He brings that dog everywhere at the weigh-ins, and I believe this was the first time he actually walked out with the dog. So there you have it. Nominees for Walkout of the Year: Colin Silva, Many Men, Make America Great Again, Jaden Curley and Ozzie Martin's walkouts, combination of the two, and the intensity of the building during that. Bye, Jerry Muse and Everett Desolé with the walkout corner dog. So there's our nominees. All right, cool.
Walkouts always
Walkout.
add to the atmosphere, and they all knew how to make the most of it.
Yeah, we've talked about this so many times on this. We set the stage for these guys, and it's up to them what they do with it. And this was kind of an award that we kind of brought. Kind of was probably the surgence of the party. He was kind of like not one of the first.
Yeah,
but
him and Muse, because Muse has been dancing, walking out for a while now. So there's been a few years where there's been just enough unique walkouts where it has to be a category now.
Yeah. So it's been great. And I say it all the time. And fighters, if you listen, and the stage is yours. What you do with it, it starts, all the promotion for your fight, everything. It starts then. So here we go. Our next category. Oh, here we go. Let me just see this little comment. Intent, Jessica Martin. That was, it was. We say this all the time, and Andy and I talk about it. It's like that 20 minutes towards right before intermission, where the people who only came for the beginning haven't left yet, and the people that are only coming for the end or just got there. That place is at full capacity, and it is insane. And those two guys sold a ton of tickets. There was a lot of talk about this fight going into it.
Dynamite.
It was
that moment.
Intense. So again, and these were no prop walkouts. They weren't a walkout that had props or anything funky. It was just
business.
Pure business intensity was wild. So yeah, great point. I see Too Cold Montreal James. Hit me in the DMs, Too Cold. Somebody said they want to see you back in 2025 and January 25th. I might have an opportunity for you. So I said, let's see. It could be working in our favor. Yeah, the bye, of course, with the Deadpool craze. That was a big one. But next up, what we got, Andy? Performance of the year.
Performance of the year. Mitch Raposo versus Justin Valentin. That was just a 5-round shutout to the finish. It was a glorious, picture-perfect performance. Lorenzo Fitzgerald taking on Brody McDougal. Another fight where he was taking on the undefeated prospect and being able to control with the mixture of wrestling, ground and pound, clinch strikes for 3 rounds, and in explosive fashion. Certainly a commanding performance. Hillary Rose versus Katie Perez. The leg kicks, staying persistent with the low attack through 3 rounds, getting the finish late in the fight. Movement on point. And then Chris Mutino versus Johnny Cupcakes Campbell. Another fight where just on point, start to finish, bell to bell. Truly masterclass of mixed martial arts from all 4 of these nominees in their Performance of the Year nominations.
Yeah, absolutely. Some great.
Because they're fighting top level competition and making it hitting a different stride in that night, where it's not like the clean KO, not the clean submission, but it doesn't even necessarily have to be a finish for it to be the Performance of the Year, but just in all skill sets and facets, just pitch and shutouts all throughout the fights. Those 4 nominees, glorious performance.
Just kind of like you said, and I think we've talked about before, is these are performances that you always got the sub, you always got the knockout, you kind of got the fight of the year, and it's like this was a category that's just for those performances that is wow. It wasn't necessarily sub, it wasn't necessarily knockout, though some could have those in those, some of them did. It wasn't a back and forth war or anything like that. That's for fight of the year. These are just holy shit. And all these guys checked all the boxes on these ones. So great performances. One more time, we'll throw them up there for you. We got Mitch Raposo winning that title before getting signed to the UFC in a flawless performance against Justin Valentin. Lorenzo Fitzgerald, a lot of people forgot who Lorenzo was. Brody was that undefeated stud amateur that, was expecting to run through everybody put in front of him. And Lorenzo said, not on my time. And made his return to cage science. Great performance. Hillary Rose just fucking axing those legs of stoppage. That might have been the first stoppage to leg kicks in cage science history. I don't, unless you can remember. You're my encyclopedia.
I'm trying to think of one right now.
And then obviously Chris Mutino in the rematch. He came up short in the first outing, and he put on a masterclass performance against Johnny
I'm
Cupcakes in the original.
really trying to think of a low kick stoppage in Cage Titans.
Yeah, Aaron Hughes. Mitch smashed the dude 4 rounds that never been finished. Dude said on Facebook post he wanted out after the first round. Yeah, I mean, listen, all these are tough to say, but obviously, you know, a strong.
That's why we vote.
That's why we vote. A strong.
That's why they're nominees.
But yeah, I don't think so. And like Andy sits front row, not even front, like as close as you can get. So he watches every minute of every fight. And as people know, with me running the entire event, it's like I very rarely have time to sit. So, you know, Andy and I usually catch up. He is giving my cliff notes the day after the fight. It's like, all right, what moments did I need to go back and look at? You know, give me this, give me that. And then a lot of times my recollection of the fight is I hear the crowd go crazy. I look up and I'm like, oh shit, okay, cool. And I'm running off doing something else. So
yeah, I try to pay. I pay as much attention as I can, and like sitting center stage, you get a real feel for the whole entirety of the crowd pouring in. It's I don't know where you're going with that, but
so cool. I'm just saying, it's, you know, these are some great fights. Anywho, I forgot I was live tonight on Instagram, so shout out to Wilson Ordonez. He said I wrestled Chris Mutino at Hudson Combat Academy in Hudson. He's a scrapper for sure. So shout out to you guys over there. All right, next up, what do we got next? Crowd silencer. And as we said before,
it's not so much like an upset type deal. We have been doing odds recently, but this is like the Cage Titans is a professional promotion, but we're located in one venue, and that venue is in a certain spot. So when somebody has to travel to the hometown of a backyard fighter, then the crowd's not in their favor. So that's where this came up, where it's not so much an upset of the year, but the out-of-stater gets the win and silences the crowd that's there to see the local fighter. And it's how we've named it over the years. Maybe as the odds continue and upsets continue to happen, there were certainly some upsets this year at the pro ranks. Maybe upset of the year will be a thing, but for crowd silence of the year, we've got Jake Hicksonbaugh when he beat Aaron Hughes. We've got
Mary Rose.
we got Saul Becerril Vivas
over Mary
Acosta. Mary Rosenbeck when she beat Christina Katsikas, and Chris McCarthy when he beat Jay Perrin. Rosenbeck out of Tennessee, McCarthy out of California, the New Yorker Saul Becerril Vivas, and Jake Hicksonbaugh upstate New York. So they all had to travel to fight at Plymouth Memorial Hall against all New Englanders, and they were able to overcome the noise of the crowd, silence them, and get the win and bring it back to their home states.
Yeah. Don't worry, John. You'll be hearing a lot of Piersma later on. I see him that. Listen, it was very tough to whittle some of these categories down. I promise you. He's got a slew of other awards that he's going to be in there. I think Piersma probably why maybe again in these razor thin categories. Piersma's from New York. In his first fight, he take on Earthquake, and he fought a guy who is from Louisiana, and Piersma probably sold comparable tickets to him, so it really wasn't a crowd silencer. Then his next fight, he fought Everett DeSoleil, and we kind of knew Piersma, and DeSoleil was still only 3-0, so wasn't a huge crowd silencer. He did silence the crowd with Jake Congdon, which was one, but I think also at that point in time,
he has already established.
He was kind of already established.
He was the champion already and defending the belt.
Again, listen. I promise you, we'll be talking about Piersma later. You talk about the other fights where you have, Aaron Hughes, who had all that shit talking back and forth. The first fight of those guys,
Fall River comes in droves for the Regiment boys.
That was truly a silencer. Sal Becquerel taking on Javier Acosta, who was in his debut, but Acosta came in like a snake suit. He was like, the place was going wild for him. He sold a shit ton of tickets, probably one of the most amount of tickets in an AMI debut in a long time. It was crazy. Somebody mentioned it earlier. I don't even have to talk about it. Got it. Makate coming to town. Perrin's first fight from the UFC. Perrin was undefeated at Cage Titans, wasn't
No,
he?
it
At
was
that
his
point?
first ever loss at
at
Cage Titans, I believe, yeah.
That was kind of wild. And then Mary Rosenbach taking on the meat grinder. I mean, a lot of people might be like, what's that all about? Katsikis was a highly touted girl around here, and she's been out of the cage for many years. Some rough sides of injuries and just bad luck. And, her coming back, this was going to be a coming out party for her, a return party for her, and it got silent. So hopefully I helped you out with that explanation. A great category, crowd silencer of the year. Always appreciate it. And it's always a good time. Next up, let's go to it. This is a new category. No, this ain't a new category. Sorry. Here we go. Debut of the year. Actually, before we pull them up, again, this is another category that we have kind of like a little bit of fluidness to how we pick people. It could be your Cage Titans debut. It could be your overall debut. There's a little bit of, interpretation, kind of how we use the term.
Introducing yourself to the hall is
Could be that as well.
new feat in and of itself, even if you've had a decorated career outside. The first time you fight a Cage Titans is a new
Andrew
introduction to a new building. And
Andrew Mack doesn't even need to do. He's done it for us. So first up, you got Jay Presley. Nice little side profile, Andy. The hair was on point that day.
I know I got to get on that haircut, or maybe the cornrows are coming back. Next
Jay
year.
Presley. Obviously he was around for a while, and I think he was 6-2 coming in that fight, 6-3. But he made a big impression in Cage Titans. Took on Johnny Cupcakes, Mr. Cage Titans in his Cage Titans debut, and was able to pick up that victory. Kyle Hill, I see somebody saying Kyle Hill for sure. Kyle Hill, we heard about him. He's undefeated amateur, undefeated pro. Came on taking on a tough guy in Earthquake and put him away. And he made it look pretty easy.
Yeah.
Great debut for Kyle Hill. Chris McCarthy, which we talked about just now, crowd silencer, again, takes on an undefeated in the hall, Jay Perrin, Cage Titans champion, back from the UFC, and McCarthy, just amazing performance. I fought for this one, Calvin Dalton, and actually thank you guys last week. You kind of helped us out. And this guy, he made his amateur debut at Cage Titans. He called into the Cage Titans, Table Titans, the week of the fight. And I don't want to say he talked trash, but like he definitely talked up his debut and kind of put a spotlight solely on himself. And then I think he took on Neil Masvidal, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And he was taking on a guy with 4 fights and
ton of experience giving up in that, but was able to pull off a tremendous first round stoppage and really explode onto the scene in his first ever fight at Memorial Hall. Like you said, McCarthy, such an impressive win over an impressive opponent, flying in, making that first walk to the Cage Titans cage. And, Jay Presley was so excited to make that Cage Titans debut and to talk about making the most of the moment. The performance he put on that night was absolutely phenomenal. And Kyle Hill was someone that's been talked about for a long, long time, someone who's been clamoring to make that moment and to make the most of it over someone as dangerous as Earthquake Aaron Giselle. Yes. All of them worthy of that debut of the year. Top-notch competition, top-notch performances, and welcome to Cage Titans, all 4 of them.
There you go, guys. One last time, debuts. Throw them up there. These are all the finalists, and after today, you'll be able to get your turn to have your voice heard. And there you go. Let's see what else we got. I'm trying to go.
Back.
Let's go.
You missed comeback.
Did I miss comeback?
You did. You kind of went over it.
Oh, my bad. Let's go back. Sorry, I'm trying to produce. I'm trying to talk about
the
fights.
Good. Yeah, you missed.
Here we go. Comeback, right?
Yep. That's the one you jumped over.
All right.
And this one's kind of like a little bit different this year.
Yeah, so comeback.
You go.
You want me to take this one?
Yeah, you take the reins.
So comeback is just, again, sometimes these categories are clear cut who can be in it. And sometimes, we got to stretch to kind of fill out the category. Well, I'll start with the clear, obvious one. Bottom right, Anthony King versus Noah Shlama. Shlama dropped him dead at the end of the first round on the bell. Came back, cracks him with a head kick, and Anthony King's still standing. He comes back and gets the stoppage finish in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
Clearly a comeback. Yorgan De Castro, you may not even know it as a comeback, but he, as he told us, he was out. He said he was out on his feet.
And I noticed it in the fight. when Marsh hit him and you saw the eyes kind of roll back and he was sitting there like a deer in headlights for a bit. And then to hear him afterwards attest to how hurt he really was, to keep that composure and then get that finish in the same round that you were out on your feet, insane.
Yeah, and then next up we got Jay Presley, who we just talked about, taking on Johnny Cupcakes Campbell. Comeback probably was, a lot of us, we talked about it last week, probably going down 0-2 going into the third round, and he just persevered and got that finish stoppage over a tough Johnny Cupcakes. Again, I wasn't in the corner, but I'm sure if he was in the corner, he was getting told need to finish. And then last but not least, we got Julian Menjivar versus Jake Bernard. Andy, actually, we were talking about this. We're like, what's going to be our fourth nominee? And we were having a hard time.
And it took a minute. And then we
watched
found
the
the clip and we're like, damn, Jake Bernard had Menjivar all sorts of hurt in that second round. Yes. And he was out on his feet, stumbling around the ground, close to a finish. But to weather that storm, come back in the third and get that finish, that is totally constitutes a comeback. If you're that damaged where a finish is imminent, but you have to find that mental fortitude to escape, survive, and then dig deep and get the victory yourself. That's what this sport's all about. That's what this category is all about. And, you can be down by the largest surplus in MMA and still find that comeback. Yeah. And that's what makes it better than any other sport. So you go down 40-0 in football, you lose.
Yeah. You come back.
You're down like 2 minutes in basketball. It's a long time. Yeah. But are you really going on a 30-point run in basketball with the last 2 minutes to come back and win the game? No. It's not. You could knock a motherfucker out, though.
Well, the other thing is
the
suspense in that.
You could choke someone.
You could come back from 30, but it's like, you're down by 20, you're down by 10. It's like, oh my God, are they going to come back? In MMA, it's like, this guy's getting fucked up, man. And then bam, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So that's why this category is fun. So some of them, in that instance, come back of the year. Jorgen DeCastro, Jay Presley, Anthony King.
Jorgen, this, like I said, it was kind of weird, this one, but like you said, Jorgen kind of talked himself into this as a nomination because we could see that he was hurt, but then he verbalized exactly how hurt he was, and it's just sad, but it still found it, dug deep, got the win, won the belt.
There you go. Shout out to Mr. Valdina. He just sent me a picture. He had shoulder surgery. I know you guys can't see that, and I have it up there, but he sent me a little picture. He had shoulder surgery. He's probably home watching right now. He sent me a picture of himself hanging out on the couch watching Table Titans. So good luck in your recovery.
Big vibes heading towards John Valdina in his recovery for sure.
Right, there you go. So we just went over a comeback. Next is a brand new category for this year. It's called the Return of the Year, the I'm Back Award. This is something Nick kind of threw together. Andy loved it. So Andy, tell us what about these guys.
Yeah, these are all fighters that had a presence at Cage Titans at some point in their career, whether it be amateur, pro, but through career turns, through fighting elsewhere, different moves that they made, injuries, layoffs, whatever, haven't fought for Cage Titans for a while or haven't gone on a run in Cage Titans for a while. So that's where this one kind of came to fruition, where we actually had a bunch of suitable nominations for this category. Starting with the champ, Jorgen DeCastro, someone who fought as an amateur several times, fought for amateur titles, and fought his pro career elsewhere on the local circuit, made it all the way to the UFC, and then on his way back around in the local circuit, trying to get back to the big show, finds himself in this opportunity, in this title fight at Cage Titans, and reminded Plymouth Memorial Hall who Jorgen DeCastro was. And it was like he never left. People clamored for the Mad Titan as he walked out, and some must have forgot that he got to start here, much like Chris Mutino, who was the only three weight division amateur champion, and he fought his first time as a pro at Cage Titans at this event after having one of the most decorated local careers in the sport. Honestly, just tremendous name there, all the way fighting in the UFC, now back at Cage Titans, and again, so much support, like he never left. Opito fought for Cage Titans, one of the craziest, most entertaining amateur careers. And then after his first pro loss, took a hiatus from the sport in general, had a couple of fights on the local scene. And then once he emerged back at Cage Titans, went on a 2-fight win streak this year and reminded Plymouth who Jacobo Opito was. Much like Hillary Rose, who fought as an amateur, fought as a pro, fought Contender Series, and then, you know, kind of like we were talking about. She was on a 3-fight loss streak in her pro stint, but this year she hit a stride like no other, really hit some momentum and put on some fantastic performances and reminded the crowd. So, like, she didn't necessarily not fight for Cage Titans for a couple of years, but the propelled some momentum. It was this 2024 for Hillary Rose performance-wise really propelled her to a different level of the map and reminded the crowd who she was, hence the I'm Back award and why these 4 are nominated. And I gotta give credit to the creativity of Nick Heiler to put this one together, because I think it's a great award. Yeah. It was a unique year where we had a few instances like this, and it fit the bill perfectly.
Don Shanus, I mean, an argument could be made again, and I know you kind of check us a little bit, all good nominations. It's like, you know, when you think about Don Shanus, you know, he did fall short in the UFC, and then he already returned to Cage Titans after his UFC and won. Then he went to go pursue a couple other belts because he was still our champion at 45. So he tried to go capture a couple other belts at other promotions, came up short there. So came back to us this year, went 2-0 on the year. So, you know, a case could be made, but like as like a regional non-UFC promotion, like, you know, just, you know, again, we're splitting hairs when you get to some of these categories, and, you know, just, you know, the other people got the nod, so to speak. You know, Jacobo Opito hadn't fought in years. And, you know, to return and go 2-0, get a sub of the year candidate. Jorgen hadn't fought for us in 10 years. When he last was seen at Cage Titans was 185 pounds. And, you know, selling 10 tickets as he laughed about. Now he's main eventing in his first pro fight as for Cage Titans. Same thing with Chris Motino. So, again, a very, very tough category to call. So, yeah, he understands. So, yeah, good one. Igor Zaltzman, maybe March. We get Igor back in there. He has a teammate fighting on this card. So, let's go. The next couple ones, what else we got? Breakthrough, and then we got all videos for the subs and fighter and all that stuff. So it's our last category of pitchers only. Yeah, and the videos will be up on YouTube later. You know, all after this, you'll see all videos for all categories after this. But for tonight, we got breakthrough of the year. And again, we've talked about this many years in the past. Interpretation for this can be a little bit of everything. Yeah, whether it's a guy you know, breaking through to the next level, you know, a guy going from an undercard breaking through into the pro ranks,
or someone that has fought around but finally gets the respect they feel they deserve at the Cage Titans crowd. So,
and again, maybe when we go through these categories, so let me see, March 22nd? But anyways, let me stick one of the categories. Let me stick, and then I'll get to the comments. You know, makes some sense. So, you know, Ozzie Martin fought last year, came up short in that fight of the year can against Brody McDougal, and then he comes back to us in 2024. And, you know, you really weren't sure what you were going to get. What did that fight do to him in a loss? You know, would he rebound? How would he rebound? He rebounded, won the title, you know, with 2-0, and knockout of the year candidates. The kid just really broke through as like, hey, this kid has some future and some potential. He's making his pro debut.
In a category where the definition is so vague, his fits it so precisely in the way that he fell short of the amateur title. And then this was the year that he finally broke past that plateau as an amateur career, won it, defended it against seasoned, difficult, dangerous competition, and really broke through as a prospect to watch. And here he is, ready to make his pro debut, because of the breakthrough year he had in 2024.
Absolutely. Great way to bring it full circle. Then you got Carter Whitty, comes into the year 0-2 and fucking just starches both his guys.
A little bit more cut and dry.
2-0, breaks through, and now this guy's a poster guy. you know, and a year ago, you're like, who's this 0-2 guy? And, you know, on a card. And he kind of broke through and lived up to the hype that Mitch Raposo and Aaron Hughes and all those guys at Regiment have been talking about. And unbelievable.
And I got to add a little personal note, because just knowing how dangerous and how gritty and scrappy this kid was. And he'd had success in the Muay Thai ranks, but as you mentioned, not quite getting the tread under the tires in the MMA career. But once he did, man, he's the talk of the town now. He really broke onto the scene. He's all over the nominations this year.
Absolutely. And then you go down to Jay Presley. Jay Presley, again, he was a debut of the year coming up. He came to Cage Titans. He was 6-3. But, you know, he had some mixed success. And this year, an amazing performance against Johnny Cupcakes, an amazing performance in a Fight of the Year candidate against Jay Perrin. And this guy really broke through and cemented himself as one of the best in the bantamweight division in New England.
And being so excited to fight for Cage Titans, having never done so before as a pro, he made the most of it, getting the big win against Cupcakes in his debut. And then there's no losers in the fight that he had against Jay Perrin. So the insurmountable amount of respect and love that he got from the Plymouth Memorial Hall crowd in 2024 is the reason he's on this list after having such a decorated pro career, which I'll just piggyback right into the next nomination. John Piersma, Warhawk, everybody who's in the know in the sport knew who he was. They knew what he was about. They knew his skill set. They knew how dangerous he was. And when he crept on the door and made his debut, if you know the sport, you know. But the general public of Plymouth, Massachusetts, and just the local scene probably didn't. Yeah. And then he used this year to propel himself to the top, win the title, defend it. Now everyone knows because he broke through in 2024.
So there you go, one more time. You know, and a note on Piersma. You know, Piersma fought a lot of times for a lot of promotions, like one and done. He'd go in, beat the bag off somebody, and then he was the boogeyman in that promotion. No one would fight him. You know, when he came to us at Cage Titans, we're like, hey, listen, we'll give you a good test, but you know, if you win and pass that test, you know, we'll keep feeding you. And, you know, as long as you want to keep coming back. And he went 3-0 in the first 3 cards of the year, won the title, defended the title. Kid was on a tear. He really broke through. And then he ended up getting a shot on the UFC show, road to the UFC. But yeah, man, a lot of great contenders on this for breakthrough of the year. Great category.
And all with a little different flavor to why and how they broke through. So, subjective, how you want to perceive that, but they all work. We make the rules.
All right, there we go. And let me just get cut up on these comments. Zach Zamzow, what's going on? Long time. I think fought on Cage Titans 1, I want to say. Izolator, that looks like it's Igor's dad. What's up, man? We always try to treat the fighters well. We can't decide if they win or lose, but we can make sure that they have a good time in win or defeat. Ozzie Martin, a couple of votes for him. Somebody asked me the date from March. I did throw it up in the comments with those people who can't see the comments. March 22nd was Noah Sklama asking about the date. So I'm hoping that means he's going to be back. He's up for a couple nominations when we get a little later. And somebody asked if Piersma and Ozzie are the same weight. They are the same weight. Ozzie's making his pro debut. Piersma is the champ. I mean, not saying it's out of the realm of possibility, but I think it's a little too young in an 0-0 pros to be looking at a guy who's so, you know, maybe at this time next year we could be seeing Ozzie on a run of 4, 5, 6-0, and maybe.
And then it's tough to deny if you get to that.
But yeah, right now definitely will be fun, but we'll see what happens. Ozzie's got his work cut out for him. And then his pro debut before we start looking down that road.
We got videos for the next.
Yep, Piersma didn't get called up to the UFC. He just fought on the road to the UFC fight. This sport does move fast, Carter. Exactly. I mean, no better guy to say that. And it's funny, I didn't notice that you picked your profile picture, and it's the same one that I picked for the nominee stuff. Good minds think alike, Carter. All right. And I owe you a name. We had a name. Didn't look like it worked. We got to work on the weight. We got a new name for him, so hopefully he'll be back for the next card, and he'll be fighting in January. So, all right, Mandy. Ah, shit. I did have a video for Breakthrough. Fuck it. I'll throw a Breakthrough on.
From Laconia, New Hampshire, he's representing Lakes Region, Valley Tudo, and Nostos. Make some noise for Ozzy Toro Martin. Fall River, Massachusetts. He's representing Regiment Training Center. Let's hear it for Carter Whitty. From Rochester, New York, he's representing Synthesis MMA. Make some noise for John Warhawk Piersma. Leominster, Massachusetts, by way of Daytona Beach, Florida, he's representing Zicali MMA. Make some noise for Jay Presto Bradley.
Always fun hearing your voice, Andy.
I guess so. I get used to it.
I just dropped in the comment the ballot voting, so you can go grab a ballot and go put it in. So there you go. Those are the breakthrough fighters of the year. So next up, what do you want to go? You want to go the knockouts, the subs, the fights, or the fighter?
Shit, play him.
Or you want to go
baby.
amateur and then go to pros?
Yeah, let's go Amis then pros. This
All
is good. That sounds like the right order.
All right, so let's go Amy. So let's go
Just like a fight
Amy
card.
sub of the
Amy
year.
started off and then the pros ended.
Let's go Amy sub of the year.
Let's do it. There were some good
go.
ones.
Big push from Xavier to open up that right side.
Still looking for that triangle, but it can't jam. Oh, nice shot. Choke, there it is.
Nick's got his back here.
We're making sure. You know where there's a small exposure. It looks like it's slipping off the side. It's in that tight. It's in that tight. Yeah. Anaconda, he might have that leg hook too. He might be able to finish this from there. The angle's a little front. There it is! Wow! Wow! He didn't even have to change the angle and fall on the head to everything. I'm sitting there, I'm like, he might have the, like we were talking about the strength to rip that Americana out. Yeah. Almost like the higher than the right. Armbar move, that's deep from Johnny Gomes. The Lion King is in trouble here. Goes all down at the town. Johnny Gomes to the second round finish victory. Woo! That's exactly sound advice from the Warrior right there. This is the technical way, but no, he set up an arm triangle.
Hard to finish if it's the case. Like, you might have it though.
Got there, he got the angle, and there's the tap. Flat out and square is the new Cage Titans featherweight champion with a fourth round submission.
Look at it. 3, 2. There you go.
There you have it. Now it's all in video form. So you
Interesting music choice, Nick Kyler.
Yeah. Hey,
All right.
that's what it is. So you got
Throw it
Jay
up
Cal-
on the screen one more time.
Jay Calendar's rear naked choke over Xavier Cardona. We got Johnny Gomes, armbar to Elias Diaz. Fred Allen Sphere winning the title over Jake Kasky with that arm triangle. And then we've got Ruben Bitar with the Anaconda choke over Eamon Gallagher.
There we go. So some good AMI subs. We had some great AMI subs. That was a tough category to whittle down for
Yeah.
sure.
There's definitely some good ones. Probably have some honorable mentions out there that
Bottom left.
got off the top
Willie
of my head,
thinks
but-
Willie Alfano is with you. When we were watching the video, you guys can't hear us talking when you went with the video on.
that was a sick
But,
Anaconda.
He was like, that was a pretty sick Anaconda.
Yeah, they're all
Best local
Slick.
promoter, nominate myself. Thank you, Evan. I appreciate it. Yeah, we'll nominate ourselves. But yeah, some slick, man. Some slick AMI subs, man. Looking good. You want to go pro subs? Or you want to just go all AMI categories first?
I don't
Yeah,
give
we'll
a
do
shit.
this. Let's go AMI KO. And then we'll go AMI fighter.
Oh, the Amy KO's on fun category this year. Let's
This
do
is
it.
actually, we call it the Carter Whitty Award, maybe. Let's go.
They're starting to swing. Oh! Out cold. I think he was timing that to the ball.
Oh my God, he is
Stiffened. Accidental knockout. You can't knee to the head. He tried to fly knee to the body, and he ducked it.
That was crazy.
That was all of the shit. That's all shit.
All shit.
That's all shit.
Clean.
That's a great
clean.
kick right there, baby.
Clean KO.
That's a nice right hand. Knock.
Great stoppage from Steve Rito on top of the action. Punch. One shot. One KO. They're trying to get up. They're trying to get him on the stool. Put him on the stool. Ryan Taylor is definitely banged up right now. They got him on the stool. The doctor's talking to him. Oh, big liver shot. And that's it, right off the liver shot. Carter Whitty getting that first MMA win. What a strike on that buckle. Great stop. Oh, my God. Wow. Oh, wow. Yep, we talked about a big opportunity, and Bill took advantage of that. Folded him.
There you got it.
Boom. There you go.
Thick category this
Hillary
year.
Rose said, "Oh shit!" I just saw Will pick that up. She said, "Oh shit" in the commentary. We're gonna put a fine envelope in her.
No, I've said
just
oh
kidding.
shit plenty of times before. So yeah, shit ain't bad on that.
No, shit
I've said fuck a couple of times.
Did you say Rogan said fuck?
Yeah, Rogan dropped he repeated something. He repeated an F-bomb on the pay-per-view.
So
this
he didn't
weekend.
say it, he said somebody else said it.
It was Ian Gary where they had the rip in the shorts.
Oh.
And they had to replace the shorts, and he was like listening to his corner. He's like, "No, they can fucking wait." And then Joe Rogan's like, "Ah, you just told them they could fucking wait." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever.
There you
It's
go.
all good. It
We'll
happens.
give Hillary a pass on the shit because these are some
Every-
oh shit fucking moments.
Everybody gets a pass. It's there are some oh shit moments. It's
Whitty
like,
just leaves his opponents lifeless in the center, dude.
I
Honestly,
don't, yeah, but it doesn't matter. I've sworn on there. It definitely happens. But no, this category was sick. Carter Whitty
this is
with
the
two
category.
devastating knockouts. Yeah, that liver shot, pristine, perfect. But how the fuck do you beat that switch kick? Just clean. Like, it happened so fast. I thought it was an illegal knee until we got the replay, and then nobody doubts anything from there. Steve Hill with the nasty flurry that absolutely starched him, and then Jay Kasky, that right hand walk away knockout, doesn't get much better than that. Tremendous KOs all around.
Every year we have like all the categories are great, but there's always that one year that's like, oh fuck, this category.
There were a couple other ones, but it's like, how do you deny Carter Whitty's both of them? We were about to consolidate Carter Whitty's, but no, you can't do that either. Yeah, it's just, like they're just amazing performances, and there's nothing better than a nice knockout. That's what people pay their money for.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna go to what do we got next?
Fight of the year, and then fight of
Fight
the
of the year.
year.
I don't think we had the videos for fight yet, because the fight of the year to like kind of capture a fight isn't a 1.5-minute video, so that's a lot tougher to do. So I'm gonna go AM fight. Let's see. I'm gonna get this up here for you. So AM fighters. Some incredible amateur fights this year. You want to talk about them, Andy?
Yeah,
I'll
get
throw
them
'em up on the
fresh
screen.
them.
There you go.
I don't know what the nominees are until they get up on the
There you go.
screen. Is that Colin Silver or Igor Zaltzman?
Yes.
Down the
Igor
bottom
had it
left?
earlier.
Yep, that was a great fight. That happened early in the year, set both of them up for big fights later in the year, but both of them no quit, never say die. They threw down in the middle, and it was a tremendous back and forth war. Going to go up to the top left now. That looks like Jay Curley versus Ozzy Toro Martin in that title fight. That was walkout of the year nomination just because of the intensity that built up through the walkout, and it did not disappoint when they did finally start chucking leather at each other, and just a barn burner war. Tremendous amateur fight. Omar Guerrero versus Dalton English in the top right there. That was a back and forth war through 3 rounds where both guys were really tested in mettle and will. Both of them hurt tremendously bad. Head kicks, body kicks. Both had to dig so deep just to make it to the final bell. And an amazing fight for 9 minutes. And then the bloodbath that was Anthony King versus Noah Skalama, one that is not going to be forgotten anytime soon. If we replace the wall behind us with the new mat one of these days, it's going to be painted red with both of their face blood because they brought it the best out of each other. Yeah, it was just a gnarly fight. Could have been ended any time, but just both guys, war of attrition. No quitting either one of them. The referee had to interject mercifully to stop both of those guys from being too tough for their own good. Tremendous year for amateur fights. A lot of
Amateur fights, man. They're looking like pros.
gut dug wars. Yeah.
I say that. I'm glad that Noah Slama and Anthony King was at the end of the year. So usually we do a new mat every year. So we try to, like, we make, we wash it, do sanitize, all that stuff to get the whole year out of it. If that fight was in the middle of the year, I don't think that shit was coming out. I would add.
Yeah, that was like pudding. That blood was like pudding on there. It was nasty.
It was
Richie and I had to go in and clean it up before the next fight went. There was just a puddle of blood there. It was.
They left it all in there, man. Honestly, crazy.
And
Anthony,
honestly,
we already saw.
And that was.
He's
And
in the comments.
it's funny how it works. That's 8 years to the day where Duma Rossi
was a bloodbath.
and you were in there cleaning it up in order for the next fight to go. It was
That's it. He picked me up, man. Usually I'm the blood cleaner, and you guys beat me.
well, I saw it, and I knew Chris Burke, who was the only referee that night. Another quick shout out while we're on the topic of someone refereeing 15 fights nonstop and doing a great job, I might add, as well. But it was, I had to sprint and get some paper towels and try to mop that pool of blood up as best as I could.
Insane.
Yeah, it's always weird taking my suits to the dry cleaners and they look at it and it's just like, listen, is everyone safe? It's like I'm in a very unique line of work and there's blood on all my suits. And that's what, but I didn't stab anybody.
Well, I used to share the story back in the day before the fights. I would always go to the same Dollar Tree in Plymouth. And sorry, stop me if you heard me say this before. But guess what? I'm not going to stop when I tell the story again anyways. Because, anywho, I'd go to the same Dollar Tree before all the Cage Science events. I got to get my supplies. I got to get the duct tape. I got to get the, the zip ties. For the girl fights, I got to get the pregnancy test. So I go to the Dollar Tree near my house. I get all this stuff. And without fail, imagine me. Usually I would go Friday night after the weigh-in.
It's such a unique shopping list.
You're talking about your suit. I'm going to the Dollar Tree in Plymouth buying duct tape, zip ties, and pregnancy tests. So obviously, I know what it looks like, and I feel a certain type of way every time going there. So I would, and tablecloths, because we used to match the tablecloths cage side to whatever color event. Like this show, we have green, so we'd get green tablecloth. So essentially drop cloths. So I'm getting drop cloths, essentially, zip ties and all this shopping list. So I know what it looks like. So I would always make jokes with the cashier, whoever it was, for the first time. And I'll never forget the fucking. So in and that was a story enough, except for the last time that I went to that one. And I'm doing my uncomfortable, joke to the cashier, like, hey, listen, I run a fight promotion. That's why I got to get these. I got to get the duct tape for the mat, the tape for the gloves. I got to get the zip ties, the tablecloths. And I'm like, and the pregnancy tests. And, and I point over to the pregnancy tests that are always there. And he goes, pregnancy tests. And I was like, yeah, to make sure the girls aren't pregnant. And he goes, those are ovulation tests. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, because I pointed because they keep them. People must steal pregnancy tests. So like when you go to Stop and Shop at Dollar Tree, they're like the candy. Like when you're in the get out, the line, they're right there. And he's like, those are ovulation tests. I'm like, oh, did you guys move the pregnancy test? He goes, they're always ovulation tests. He goes, we keep them right here as long as I've been here for like 2 years. And I'm like, what I felt inside, I was just like,
So either for 2 years, no one listened to my fucking story and was just like, yeah, this crazy guy buying fucking duct tape and drop cloths and shit. No one ever listened to me because this is the first time anybody was like, you've been buying fucking ovulation tests. So anyways, that's my story.
Oops.
Yeah. Anywho, I think it's funny and I reminisce.
I think it's funny
I'm
too.
sweating thinking about it because I remember the moment I was just like, you guys must have just put him there. Did you move the pregnancy test? He's like, no, they've always been there.
So you've never were getting pregnancy tests like you should have been.
Well, to my defense, I turn them over to the commission, then the commission turns them over to the doctor, and then they go get the girls to go take the test. No one ever fucking noticed. So
Who's the smart one?
Anywho, that's my crazy story, and it's a true story. I don't have to make that up. Anywho, back on track with the nominees. Next up, Amateur Fighter of the Year. We had some great amateur fighters. Let's see who they are.
From Laconia, New Hampshire, he's representing Lakes Region, Valley Tudo, and Nostos. Make some noise for Ozzy Toro Martin! Fall River, Massachusetts, he's representing Regiment Training Center. Let's hear it for Carter Whitty! From Revere, Massachusetts, he's representing Sit Your Tongue. Let's hear it for Matt Pikachu Martinez. Groton, Connecticut, he's representing Team Dexter Valley Tudo. Let's hear it for Eric Sane.
All these guys going 2-0 on the year. Ozzy Martinez, Matt Martinez, Eric Zane, Carter Whitty. Those are your amateur fighter of the year nominees. Yeah, tremendous accomplishments on all 4 accounts. We'll leave it to the voters.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's not much to say. The actions inside the cage, obviously. Jessica's in there saying Toro. He's a hungry beast. We got to go with Ozzy Martin. I think that's a buffalo emoji from Justin Bates. But yeah, man, great year for all those guys. Ozzy Martin picking up the belt, going 2-0 on the year. 2 tough fights. Great strength of schedule. Hop over to Carter Whitty. How the hell do you talk with that? It's like Carter Whitty, hold my beer. He's got 2 knockout of the year nominees. Incredible knockouts. Go down to Matt Martinez, 2-0 on the year. Some great performances, showing some great improvement. I remember, I think he started his career like 0-2. Matt Martinez, another one that started in the hole, and now he's 3-2-1. Great year from Matt Martinez. Then Eric Zane, not much was known about him. Came to us from Dexter. He put on a great performance in his debut, I think back in January. Then he comes in our last card of the year. So far on the first card and the last card of the year, he takes on what looked like an unstoppable guy in Ruben Batar, who was 2-0 at the time. And he took him out and looked impressive doing it in a very tough fight. So all 4 guys had some great fights this year. Yeah, man, there we go. There's Toro the Boogeyman. A couple people going for Toro. It's going to be hard to get but I think Carter Whitty's going to give him a tough run for that money.
But quite a year for the Amis.
There we go. So, Amy, those are our
Now on to the pros.
On to the pros, man. We're going to keep this quick. Kitchen upstairs at Coop's closes at 10. We got to get some food in, so we got to get this over with soon. Let's go with the pro sub of the year.
Corrects the ride, gets a hook in.
Trying to get Medina in a roll to his left.
Arm crunch, bicep cruncher.
Love this.
Tap. I think he tapped. He tapped. He definitely tapped. Yep.
This could be over.
Scoop the leg, scoop the leg.
Big punches from Bush.
Yeah, Bush is landing here, but just
Switch it over.
the first round over. 30 seconds in, maybe not even.
revenge with a first-round finish. Going belly down with the armbar.
Now he's got the reverse triangle.
Yeah, he's got it locked
Oh, damn,
in.
that's actually pretty locked in there. His arms across, too. You might have it. That would be impressive. What an impressive win.
Sometimes it's just uncomfortable.
Oh,
It's very
slippery,
tough to
though.
really
He's got-
finish.
Got his shoulder out.
Yeah, it looks like Pena might be out of dodge here. He's starting to turn into it a little bit, but
And his shoulder's out. Hillary made the call there.
Oh, he tapped.
Oh, he tapped.
reverse triangle.
Wow.
No, he had the shoulder in. He had the shoulder in. I saw it.
Oh, yeah.
Reverse triangle, third round.
Jojo immediately responded with a head kick.
Joe Giannetti early in his career used to make quick work with chokes like this, and he's got a really good bite.
That is deep.
That's a powerful bite.
That is a super deep ninja choke.
Ball's out.
He's out.
Joe Giannetti sleeps in the bone in the first minute. Power guillotine right off the gate in the first shot, and he just stitched it up and Jacob Bones coming to him. That was good.
Nasty, nasty. Tap, nap, or snap. These were these were the submissions of the year. You saw some naps,
No snaps.
no snaps, but a lot of taps, a couple naps.
Couple naps for sure. Honestly, great category.
Same.
Pro subs. We had a very difficult time. We talked about categories that we have to whittle it down. You know, there was a couple other ones that we had, you know, that we were kind of going back and forth on, but I think we landed on some good ones right here.
Yeah, the Tarico Plata. I don't even know how to pronounce that correctly. I've never seen it before, but Jacobo Pito hit that over John Medina. Something that we've never seen before, so that had to get thrown on there. And something that's very rare in MMA in general, the inverted triangle. That Zach DiSabatino getting it over an 8-fight UFC veteran Luis Pena. Huge. Couldn't get him a nomination for that. You never see those finished.
And we even honorable mention the Kyle Hill standing rear naked choke.
Yeah, that was another
That was
honorable
another
mention.
one.
That one had the so many crazy submissions, but Pat Gilbride with that flying armbar, flying triangle transition to an armbar.
Yeah, I think the highlight video didn't get the opening part of that, which
He jumped triangle
He jumped
and then
triangle,
made the adjustment
and
on
then
the
as he
ground.
landed, they switched. They obviously Lionel's tough as they come, fighting and punching out of it, and Gilbride keeping his wits about him, and
But that ninja choke was also sick.
put him to sleep. And Jacob Bone, black belt. I mean, that's and this kid was they already fought once, and it was an incredible fight.
Mhm.
Joe made it look easy. Tough one for you guys. Somebody asked about how to vote. I threw it up in the comments, the voting form. It will also be up on our website tomorrow morning for voting. Next up, let's go. Pro KO.
They're already going at it. This is crazy. Oh,
You see the spit flying.
They both landed.
oh, get up, Marty.
Marty got tagged early. Trissell jumping on him with a big right hand. But that was a big knockdown from Aaron Trissell.
He wants to take him down when he wants to stand back up. Oh,
Body shot.
beautiful. Liver shot.
That's it. Mitchell Rosa picks up the first man to defeat Justin Valentin via stoppage, and he set it up to fight me over 4 rounds. Couldn't knock him out with a headshot. Kicks to the body, drops him with a liver shot, falls to the head kick, and Alan Mallett seen enough, and I can't disagree. Beautiful. Great return. Everett says bring it on. Nice right hand from. Oh, the knee up top. But man, Everett just got a chin on him. So does Lorenzo. He's still standing after these balls. Oh, that's enough. Wow. Out cold. Everett gets the leg 3-0. Devastating power. Jack got caught. I think this is the most I've ever seen Jack Martin get hit. Sam Watford.
Oh, big right hand.
going for the finish here. Knee. Nice work. Elbow. Sam Watford really making this a fight. Sam's in it. He's looking to find an avenue to swing back. Rolling. Oh, good Bob and Lee. Good head. Oh! Oh! Hell high. Oh, my. That's opportunity. Let him fight. This guy's got 10.
Go. There's the pro knockouts of the year.
Those are the finishes that came by way of strikes.
Some crazy ones. Honestly, man, there was some. You love that Everett Diesel one.
Yeah, that was a sick knockout. Kick
There we go. Yep.
combination that was insane, especially towards the end of that fight and how he was systematically breaking him down through the fight. Aaron Trissell with the thunderous combination, flattening Marty Navis in the first round, and then the follow-up shots on the ground. Tremendous killer instinct on Earthquake era Trissell with big power in both hands. And yeah, that Everett Desolé knockout was just as clean as it gets. Both of those guys, Lorenzo Fitzgerald. Second before one of them fell, and Desolé got that kill shot. So
Absolutely.
those are your knockouts of the year for the pro ranks.
Knockouts were crazy. You know what stood out to me watching the video is Jack. Like, he kind of reminds me like of people like the old, like when George Foreman like re-won the heavyweight title at 48 or whatever it was. It was like this guy just was throw thudding shots. Like he wasn't, quick, fast, this. It was just like Jack. There was one shot in there. He just was like, bam. It's like, it's coming. And it's just like thudding. So many great, that's just something that stood out to me watching those videos back. But yeah, some great knockouts coming. Media, somebody's asking about media. We'll get to that in a minute. Just to quickly get it back. I know we're talking about the pros, but great stats from Martin Family Ranch. Liver shot. I think in the picture, I did have the head kick as the picture, but if you watch the video, clearly it was that liver shot that really did the damage. The liver shot for the Fall River boys. So there you go. Next up,
the Fall River
fight.
liver shot.
Fall River liver. The Fall River liver. Next up, we got Pro Fight of the Year. No surprise here in the top left. We got Peter Barrett, Joe Giannetti. That fight had it all, from build up to, intrigue to anticipation, and then just a great fight. Barrett versus Giannetti. Then we got Jay Perrin taking on Jay Presley. That was another one that at the end of 5, it was like, which way is this fight going? Then bottom left, we got Don Shanis and Jerry Muse. They just stood toe-to-toe and brawled, which I was kind of surprised to see. But I thought I'm not going to lie, I thought it was going to be a little different of a fight. And they stood toe-to-toe and wang, slang and wang. And then bottom right, we got Daniel Keepers taking on Miguel Savesin. We probably could have put it Miguel Savesin versus Anthony Pike in there.
Yeah.
Man, some incredible fights in the pro ranks. What do you think?
All these fights went the distance. The two on the bottom between Muse and Shanis and Sevesin and Keepers. There were 3-round wars where they're just in a phone booth the whole time, no stop to the pace whatsoever. Those upper two between Giannetti and Barrett and Jay, Presley and Perrin, respectively. Those are 5-round wars that take a little bit more time to build up. It might be a little bit more lulls in the action, but make no mistake about it. They're all different types of fights of the year.
Yeah.
Where Keepers and Miguel, they went at it. Miguel got hurt really bad out the gate and had to jump back into the fight, and you lost the first round, edged the last two, really close, razor thin. Both guys had to dig deep. That's why that's Fight of the Year nomination. Whereas Shanis and Muse, they both met in the phone booth and just rock'em sock'em roboted for 3 rounds. There was no knockdowns, no crazy momentum shifts. It was just a nonstop pace where the judges are seriously sitting there with a fine-tooth comb the statisticians must have had a field day with it because they just wouldn't stop throwing in the pocket, despite like nobody really getting overly hurt. It was just a crazy pace through 15 minutes that saw everything go down. That Jay Perrin versus Jay Presley fight, both guys hit wobbly legs on different occasions through the fight. They both had to truly gain composure and pace the fight out. And there was no quitting either of them. However bad they had each other hurt, they wouldn't say die and would find a way back into the fight. So many momentum shifts. And then Giannetti versus Barrett was just a round by round war with all the history that came behind it. You know, Barrett edging with the striking differentiator, and then Giannetti getting the full mount later in the fight and winning those rounds decisively. And then it came down to the fifth and final round to see who would win. And Barrett was on point with the straight left, and those kicks were on point as well. So and it was a split decision. So everything from the history to the fight to how the fight played out to just how close it was, and you didn't know how it was going to go. You could hear a pin drop in that place. All of them have different reasons that make them worthy fight of the year. You couldn't go wrong with any of them. And they were all special for their own reasons. All 8 participants in these fights, thank you for performing your art in front of Plymouth Memorial Hall. This is why we do it, is for fights like this. This is the real shit.
Andy's excited about this category.
Yeah, I always get emotional sometimes.
And our second to last category, I will mention that we do have a media category that is up on the balance. I don't have any graphics for it. I do like John O'Connell's comment about photo of the year, because honestly, you know, our photographer and our media team does an amazing job. You know, a lot of the photos, my favorites I grab and I use as posters. So there's a great photo of the year, like, you know, capturing. I would love that. Another thing I've been thinking about, a lot of these teams.
That is a good term, wang slanging.
Wang slanging. But another category that I've been thinking about, we'll probably bring in for 2025. A lot of these teams have their own. They have their own like team that does their own video and like project works. Like a lot of fight teams are also having their own media teams come to the fights with them and produce content, whether they're they're training leading up to it. So I think next year we might see something where we'll do like a content, maybe instead of media member of the year, maybe we add like a content creator of the year, something like that. So it might be something that we're going to bring in. And I love the idea of photo of the year. That'd be amazing as well. Nick said he's releasing media soon. Photos I'm with meme of the year. Why not? A meme of the year. That's a Nick category. That's not an Andy category. I'm not even going to pretend to ask him. But our last category for tonight, we have Pro Fighter of the Year. Without further ado.
From Fall River, Massachusetts, by way of Cape Verde, representing Regiment Training Center, I give you Jorgen, the Mad Titan De Castro! From Abington, Massachusetts, he's representing Sitka Kong and Lozon MMA. Let's hear it for Slippery Pete, Peter Barrett. From Rochester, New York, he's representing Synthesis MMA. Make some noise for John Warhawk Piersma. From Dracut, Massachusetts, he's representing the New England Cartel. Let's hear it for Andrew, the Gladiator Valdina.
All right, Andy. There we go.
There you go. Some championship belts that were won and a contender that was brewed in 2024. Those are your nominees for the Pro Fighter of the Year. Jorgen De Castro winning the heavyweight strap in his only fight, but still, that is the most coveted championship of championships. So certainly worthy of the nod right there. Slippery Pete Peter Barrett winning his first pro belt at Cage Titans, which is insane indeed, considering the historic career that he's had at Cage Titans. But him going 2-0, winning the belt in the legendary fight against Giannetti, tremendous for the nomination. Our only fighter to go 3-0 on the year, John Warhawk Piersma, also winning the gold at welterweight, cracking a couple goose eggs along the way, handing Everett Desolé and Jack Hongden their first professional losses. That's certainly an accolade worth mentioning in this year. And Andrew Valdina, who's going to be fighting for the title come January. How he got that title shot was the work he put in 2024, going undefeated, keeping his perfect professional record intact. The only guy that doesn't have the belt, but an impressive year nonetheless for the Gladiator, Andrew Valdina. And those are your 4 nominations for Fighter of the Year at the pro ranks.
Yeah, and, obviously, a lot of fighters went 2-0. Shayna's Hillary Rose, a few other ones we talked about.
And like we said, it was tough to whittle away, but how do you deny the heavyweight champ?
Yeah, and heavyweight champ, it was a highly coveted title. And the way Marsh won it, and just, again, Jorgen with his accolades in the UFC, his accolades in the PFL, he was already a two regional promotions, NEF and CES champion, capturing that third belt. He was 1-0 on the year at Cage Titans, but there was a big 1-0, no pun intended, in that heavyweight. Peter Barrett went 2-0 on the year, won the Cage Titans title, which Peter Barrett is one behind Johnny Cupcakes for the most amount of fights in Cage Titans history. Damn. And the fact that he never won the pro title. He said it in the lead up. He goes, I don't need a belt to show that I'm the baddest guy in Cage Titans history. And it didn't hurt to put that belt around him and actually have the belt now to prove it. But, he was happy winning that belt, and it was a fight for the ages. Then obviously Piersma, I said this before, Piersma burst onto the Cage Titans scene in January, headlines the very next card, that wins the title, then headlines the very next card and defends the title. This kid really had an amazing year. Don't forget about him, because all his work was done at the beginning of the year. Yeah, since then he went to the Road to the UFC show. He had surgery as well, so who knows? He might be back in 2025 kicking around. He has a long injury recovery ahead of him, but. And then
can't forget the year that John Warhawk Piersma had. That was unheard of.
As Valdina, a lot of people saying Valdina is a popular fighter, no doubt about it. He did come back from the long injury as well, went 2-0 on the year and solidified himself for that title shot. Aaron Hughes said he wants the record. Aaron, what's your number right now? You got to let me know. But either way, some great fights, man. Some for 2024. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching the videos for the nominees and seeing all the nominees. People that want to vote, you can go online. Tomorrow morning will be up on CageTitansFC.com. And I will put it once again here in the comments.
Go vote like your country depends on it. Well, It doesn't. That vote's already happened. But now the Cage Titans doesn't even depend on it. But it's fun. Let's celebrate a great year of great finishes, great knockouts, great fights, and great art performed by these athletes, because it's more than a sport. It's more than art. It's both. That's what we do here. This is it was a tremendous year, one that's remarkably monumental from as long as I've been on board, where it's always been fun, and that didn't change.
Yeah.
But it's when shit hits the fan is not a good thing, but it's the opposite of shit hitting the fan. It's good shit hitting the fan. It's propelling the shit in good directions, and it's good shit that it's propelling. It's not like it's it's been a long day. Hey, it is what it is. But
we gotta get up to the kitchen before 10 o'clock. We only got 11 minutes.
The shit's really gonna hit the fan.
You don't want shit hitting the shit being talking about shit. Your lasting thing. Give us your lasting thing for the night.
Lasting thing for the night. I got nothing. The year is over. Santa's coming down the chimney. Get the cookies ready. Hide the elves up the shelves. I don't know what else to say. It's been a great year. We pretty much touched on all the highlights and compiled them into all of the categories that we could. So you get a nice taste of all 6 shows through the year, and all things that make MMA great. So there's no one thing.
Fine, I'll wrap it up for him. Go out and vote. voting is the links here in our comments, and it will also be up on our website, cagetingsfc.com. And I'm sure Nick will throw the link in the bio for you young guys over on Instagram. In addition to that, thank you guys for a tremendous 2024. If you weren't nominated this year, my apologies. Don't drop me DM saying, how did you not pick me? It was tough. It's always very tough, but it's also very fun. And, that's it for voting. As for Cage Titan 69 on January 25th, we dropped the poster earlier. I'm proud to present it to you. We'll go a little this way so you can see us. There you go. Man, Carter Whitty, you heard his name a lot today. And he's our poster child for Cage Titans.
Poster child for violence.
Yeah, poster child for violence and not, violent knockouts, but he's the poster child for Cage Titan 69. Sorry, Don Shanis. I'm sure you're disappointed because he wanted the headline, he is headlining Cage Titan 69. I'm sure he wished 69 would be a little bit more prominent on this poster. Sorry, Don. You're going to have to make your own poster if you want to have a big 69 fest on it. We're adults here, not teenage boys.
So it is still Cage Titan 69.
There you go.
Bottoms up. We're going to have some fun. Let's go.
So there you go. There's the poster. We'll be updating everything with the new graphics this week. So that's all I have for you guys. We cannot wait to see you next week. We'll talk some more about these nominees and maybe kind of give you guys
and more 69 and let's do it.
And I have the full fight card ready for you next Monday. So tune in next Monday, Christmas week. That's what I'm putting under your tree. Cage Titans full card for Cage Titan 69. And if you haven't already, Cage Titan 69 tickets on January 25th. Make a perfect present this holiday season. Go over to CageTitansFC.com to pick up your tickets or directly at tickettree.us. And now I truly have nothing else for you.
That's it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for a great year. We'll discuss it more next week and pick the winners in a couple more.
The party continues. The party's the best. Undefeated in New England. Come get me. This is my house. My house.
Stayed on me here, I took it with zero. The flame you saying I read it for miles. The shit wasn't luck, they got me fucked up. I put your own bus and take you around. A couple of guys inside of the school, I give them the tools to get it off ground. They say they're the ones when they make the airs, can't look in the mirror. That shit wild. Stand on the stage, I give them the rage. I'm turning it down, can't keep following, doing the streets. We do it for keys, we do it for rights. I'm 52 weeks, the shit ain't for pleasure, I'm coming to tweet. The shit is real, they ain't did it. Hey, yo, we write it and rap it and write it and rap it and write.